Hey there, folks. Pretty much every day I go to CSSBattle.dev and do the daily target. I'm Joe Crawford of artlong.com. And look at what we have here. Oh, little squares. Oh, that's great. That's so great. Uh, so what can't we do? We can't use box shadow because, to my knowledge, a box shadow is is the same shape and in the same orientation. So each one of these is just slightly different. There are some interesting ways to do shapes like this. But I think what we really have here are three little paragraph tags, each one a little bit different. So what do we need to do to make those exist? Let's make one. And the one we want to make is the first one, is the one that's on the bottom, actually. So what's it take to do that? We put this green on the body. We're going to set some margins to begin with. And the first one is going to be lowest. The second one we'll call B, and the third one we'll call C. And it is my conviction they're going to have some transforms, which would be a translate and a rotate. All right, so let's push these guys down. So the first one, we need a bunch of margin. We need to push them a lot down to 200, 220 down. Look at that, 220 down. And then on the sides, 100, 30, 40, 50, 50, 152. There's our first guy. And that's pretty good. So B, he's got a little rotate on him. Let's call it minus 30 degrees. And he's also got a scale, 0.5, let's say. And then we're going to add some negative margins to push these guys up. Minus 100, 20, 30, 40, 50, 200, 300. Oh, 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 oh. 400. There we go. So big numbers are getting it done. 1 for 10, 20, 30. And I think the first thing this exposes is that I have the shape wrong. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. He's only 80 tall. Perfect. Oh, I love that. So let's decrease this. Perfect. He is rotated minus 30 degrees and he is half as large. So C is what? His rotate is a little different. Is it 15 degrees? And his scale is 0.25. Almost. Oh, is it 30? Yeah, okay. And then so let's call his margin top 180. No, 220, 230, 40, 50. So by tweaking the margin top, we have a different value there. So let's submit and see if we've got it. I, I did a lot of really good guessing. I will remind you that I do not look at these in advance. If I do so, I will let you know. So yeah, I have good instincts about what the numbers are. And so in this case, this one is a quarter size of the original, and then the middle one is half size of the original with a little bit of a rotate. Now, one thing this has me thinking about, if I didn't want to change that margin, could I make that work? If I did a transform origin, do I get different values? So that's kind of interesting. So I think the default is 50%, 50%. Is that right? Or is it 50%? Or is it 0, 0, 0? I think that's the default. So do we get closer? 4, 3. So it's the vertical that's a little bit different. I would like to not do an additional margin. Can I do that? That's kind of interesting. So let's we're tweaking these numbers. 110, 38, 37. Ooh, that's close. Oh, it's so close. I'm not going to bother with this, but you can see that the transform origin has a big impact on where those things show up. Using the default is probably for the best. So let's go back to what worked. So we have that negative margin that pushes each successive one up. So the first one is actually this one on the bottom, and then the rest go upward. Is there a way to do the first one as rotated and then normalize the other two? Probably. Do I want to do that is the question. I think it becomes a little trickier to undo the rotation and the scaling. So I need to scale up because it's exactly let's minify and unit replace and submit. And this will be a final score for this edition. So if we were going to do it backwards from the way I just did it, we would do the first one with a rotate, right? So let's undo a whole bunch of this. Yeah, okay. So we'll undo a bunch of this and let's just clobber all the styles here. So we know it's half of 80 and then half of that. So it's 20, right? And this first margin is different, 10. Okay. And we're going to get rid of that. Rotate. I guess that's going to be 30 degrees. Okay. So we need more margin on the side, 180. There it is. A little less. So we have smaller characters. So 80. I think that we've got the first one. So then what happens? B is a rotate. B is a rotate of minus 30 degrees. Scale is 2. And then if we adjust this margin to turn that to 0, minus 10, 20, 30, there it is. And then C becomes rotate 0. 30 degrees. Oh, that's not working at all, is it? That's not rotating the third one. Why? Why is that not working? Let's put a background of black on there. Okay, so that's working, but the rotate is not working. Why? Oh, so I forgot. So see that rotate of 0? Unlike most other CSS units, this is actually the valuable lesson because I forgot. 0 is not a valid value for rotate. It's 0 degrees. I think 0 turn is also valid, and probably 0 radians, but degrees is good enough. And then if I do a scale, so times 2 be 4. And there it is. And either way, I need to move it down, right? Because of how we got that. But now I could do transform origin 50% 0, and that actually puts it in place. It's kind of verbose, but that shows you transform origin has a value. Because those things were already rotated, adding transform origin after the fact is a little harder. So that's another way to do it. That's fun. That's a fun one. Almost cute. Could be an animation. Like you could do this as a kind of animation. Is this one we can change to ampersand? Yeah. This is the kind of thing that you could do variables for as well. You'll see SSRs. Let's see. Translate 0, 30 pixels as well would work, I think. And of course, you can always change the units of I guess the only unit we really got. Yeah, so that's a fun one. Are there more interesting ways to do this? I think you end up with a reminder that rotate 0 degrees is also transform colon rotate and then a parentheses. That is actually the same. Oh, it's not, is it? I guess the transform is losing there. So if I get rid of this rotate and this rotate, then the transform will work. Yeah, because I already was using rotate, switching to transform rotate wouldn't do it. But that's a little more verbose. But rotate is a first class CSS property. What else we got? What else can I trivia add trivia of? I don't like that one. One of the other ways to create a shape like this would be, oh, now I want to do it, even though it's really not a great idea. It would be all conic gradients, a terrible, difficult idea. So of course I'm going to do it. So how many will it take to do that? So I'm going to go top to bottom. I think I'm going to go from 30 degrees transparent 90 to, or 25%, and then this color. Well, actually, it's not from 30 degrees. It's from 90 and 30, 120 degrees is what I was thinking. Oh, and it's not that. It's, oh, no, it is. It is. I just need an at value. So at what, 50%, 100 pixels? 70? Okay. And we need to be a little less over 48. 39, 74, 45, 56. How about 190 pixels? 25, 26, 7, 5. And right now, I think I've got white on the background. So let's actually put the yellow. So why am I doing this? I don't know. Got the challenge of it. I enjoy the challenge of it. Let's move this one pixel more over. You see how it's a little trickier to do it this way. 5, 6, 6. Okay, so there we got that. So what do we do next? I kind of think another conic gradient is the way to do it. Well, I was saying all conic gradients to begin with. So conic gradient. And there was a conversation on yesterday's post about why I used repeating conic gradient versus conic gradient. And yeah, that's a matter of taste. It was what I thought of yesterday, but yeah, you don't have to do it that way. Let's add a no repeat. Or no, actually, I think I know that. Well, no repeat is correct. And I'm going to do ridiculous colors to start. I'm going to do black, 75%, and then yellow, 0. So right now that's at the default. So I'm going to have that be at 0, 200 pixels, and then, oh, that's actually fine. And what I want is actually this to be 25%. And so I need it to have a width, let's call it 200 pixels, and a height of 50 pixels. Okay. This is what I'm trying to do. And I think I want this to have a from. I am intentionally making this a little harder on myself. So don't do that if you're not interested in that. Uh, okay. This value is like 180, and this height needs to be like 100. Great. Let's push him down further. 190. Great. And then repeat X. So this is what you can kind of see what I'm trying to do there. Well, we know it's 80 pixels by 80 pixels, right? And so let's put that in the upper corner. So yeah, we'll go back to the 75% and yellow. There we go. And we'll cut off that. Okay, that's what I was trying to do. Oh, we want the second one to be, so maybe we do want from 90 degrees or minus 90 degrees. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. All right, I know it's a little weird and wonky to see, but I'm gonna make this 100%. No, I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna do that at all. Okay. I think so. I'm gonna set this to be the green, and I'm gonna set this yellow to be the correct yellow. And then I think that I can make this work. So I want to be not as, so let's go 80. Great. And then the height needs to be a little more to 120. Great. And let's change that app value to be some different number. 10. No, 80 is correct, isn't it? I move this minus 10 pixels. Oh, that kind of works. Not very well. I've made this. I've specifically done this to be very difficult. And in fact, this is so conic gradient is probably the really the wrong way to go. So make this much simpler. We're gonna do linear gradient from the side, and that's going to be 90 degrees at 80 pixels, and then green. So the conic gradient is great unless you have a lot of math to do. So let's. So now we're moving over to 160. There it is. Okay, and now it's 100% wide, 80 pixels tall. Yes, 80 pixels tall, and repeat X. Now we shouldn't see anything. Oh no, there it is. We need to move it on the Y axis, 200 pixels, or even better, 220 pixels. There it is. Okay, that's not too bad. Uh, if you're following along, this is the weirdest way to do it. So that's a linear gradient. Yes, I could have done that as a. Oh, well, is there a simpler way to do it? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, this is a long one. Conic gradient, green. So I think I faked myself out. So there's that square at 80 pixels, 80 pixels. And then we're going to move it. Right now it's at 0, 0. It's 100% wide. And repeat X. Yeah, and then I'm going to push it down. There we go. And then push it over. There we go. So this is what I was trying to do. Oh, I was actually trying to do the a little bit above it too, and that's I think where I messed myself up. All right. Okay. So then we got a little more tweaking to do. Push it over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great, and then down to 220. Okay, that's what I was trying to do. All right, what's next? Conic gradient. Let's do this part of the green underneath. So yeah, we'll do underneath. Can we do that? Yes, we can do that. Conic. This is not the most efficient way to do it, but you knew that. Okay, so I don't have anything valid. I've ruined the syntax, so I can't see any of it. I would like to be able to see like a little bit. So there, this is what I made. All right. So I got a from minus 30 degrees at 100 pixels, 100 pixels. Actually, probably more like 200 pixels, 200 pixels. And this is 25%. So that works. That blue is going to be this green, and the red will be transparent. Okay. I'm going to put yellow in the background so I can see and control that a little bit better. So too far over, I think. 1.8, 1.9, 195, and too far down. 1.8, 1.9. Move it over 4, 3, 2, 3, and a little up. Yeah, it's a lot of code smell when you do it this way, right? Like these numbers, you wish they were not quite so magic. 3, 2. So having trouble locating exactly where that center is. Sometimes it's useful to use a much bigger number and then go up 1 here. So that's a weird pixel number, but it's getting the job done. All right, that's where we are. And to those of you saying, how come this video is so long? Because I decided to do it in conic gradients, and that is harder. All right, so let's do top up. So similar kind of a thing. It's actually so similar. Let's steal this, the prior one. We know it's higher, so let's just put it up vertically. And then it's over a little bit, 203. That's kind of close. All right, so this minus, so instead of that number, we want minus 60. Yeah, that's not too bad. Look at that. And what we actually want to do is not, we want this to be the yellow and then this number to be transparent because we actually can't fill that quite yet. So now I'm going to put this green as the background color. This would actually be the background dash color. Had it. Okay, so a little lower. 10 or 100. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. How about 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Close. 2, 3. That's not helping. We got some edges there that are not very good. I think we're going to decide that's okay. And then we're going to do another conic gradient. It's a little lower. And from a different angle. It's from 90 plus 90 plus 60, 1, 5. And then we end with green. And need a comma. There we go. That's kind of close. A little higher than 1, 9. That's actually good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Higher, like 40. Great. How about 130? Closer. Let's submit that. I think we've got errors. I think we're at 99.9%, but it's worth a try. Those are all the pieces anyway. So yeah, 99.9%. So we have error. So it's just not aligning right. But you see how you can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 conic gradients. Each one, imagine a sheet of paper that you cut a square out of, right? So you have a big sheet of paper and create L shapes, and you just keep placing those L shapes. And that's what I'm doing. Which is kind of fun. It's fun for me. I don't know if it's fun to watch. It's getting a little old at this point, particularly since I got to tweak all these numbers quite a bit. 4, 6. So I think this needs to be better. So I would like to see that be a nice, clean, have equal amounts of error on both sides. And I think that will do it. So 8, and this is, a little tricky visually. Let's increase this number to 9, 30, 31, 32, 33, 2, 21. Oh, see that? See that? 2, 1, 7.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 5, 0.4. Let's see. So close. Okay, and then I actually think that's good enough. Ah, it's really frustrating that this great, ridiculous technique to show you, and it's just not quite working. But you can see those shapes, right? A little more tweaking and I could do it. I think I'll stop there. Let's load the actual good solution, which is the 3 little paragraph tags. Much simpler than the conic gradient solution, but learning to manipulate those conic gradients is I swear, useful to me. Uh, it doesn't always help solve the problem, and particularly with one where these are freestanding. It works better when you have big swaths of shapes that are complicated that you can't make with rectangles, uh, or that they span all over the place, right? So if these went to edges, obviously it's fewer of those L's that you need to make. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you watched this far, 33 minutes worth. I think we had it solved in what, 8 minutes, 6 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. So if you watched this far, good for you. Thanks for watching. It's a lot of fun to work with conic gradients for me. Maybe not so much to watch videos, but yeah. And once again, I do these the way I do them. I do them in my own specific and peculiar ways, let's say, and it's how I enjoy it. But you can do them in an entirely different way. I am by far not the best player, but I have fun with it. Hope you're doing well. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other, and go make a web page. See you tomorrow. Bye.